Let's get straight to it.
The following program is powered by Urban Junction Entertainment. Finally, a show for the people, by the people. This is Undiscovered Gems. Undiscovered Gems was created for one reason: to give people music they've been missing and the music they need to hear. This is a weekly radio show that is designed to be on many platforms. No matter where you're listening, we are going to get Undiscovered Gems to you, because it's all about the music. And now, that music you've been missing, that music you need, Undiscovered Gems, with the man, your host, MC Andrew Love.
When did you decide that this is what you wanted to do?
80s is my favorite decade.
And just how you approach music is amazing, because you're not settled for the first take.
You're 100% right when you say that. When I'm in the studio, I'm not making it for the audience at first, right? I'm making it for me.
You're not an R&B guy. You're an artist.
You folks want to call me R&B.
But you're an artist.
Yeah.
That's an artist. You're an artist. You make all types of music. Are you ready to dive into the world of music? Get ready for Let's Chat and Jam, the show that brings you the hottest artists and the most incredible stories. Thanks for tapping in to Let's Chat and Jam. Today we have a special guest. This special guest been on the show numerous times because he's always releasing dope music. Well, folks, the brother went in the studio and he did it again. He did it again. I told you guys before, this man is the shiznit, and I know talent. When I see talent a mile away, well, this brother has got to be about 3,000 miles away, but I still see him. And I'm glad I met him when I did, because he's just getting better and better every time he drops a new track. You know his name. His name is Ronnue. And every time he does a remake, the saying is now, it's called Ronnueified. That's the saying, folks. So when I say that we got a new song coming from Ronnue, and man, he Ronnueified it, then you know what I mean. Because when you hear this song today, I'm going to just tell you the song. It's called Like a Virgin. Everybody knows this song. Madonna made it classic. She's awesome in what she does. I love Madonna. But Ronnue, well, I'm going to tell you something, folks. This brother made it his own. And when you hear it, you're going to be like, damn, MC Andrew Love, you did it again. Yes, I did. I know talent. And so that's why I had to come and bring him back to the show to talk about Like a Virgin, because the way he did it, it's addictive to me. And it's going to be addictive to you. So anyway, folks, without further ado, let's bring in the one and the only Ronnue.
What's up, everybody? What's up, world?
Thank you for coming to the show, Ronnue. I appreciate your time.
My pleasure.
Oh, it's our pleasure, man. It's our pleasure. And I'm talking about the fans in attendance and myself. Because when you come in with something so amazing, because the way you bring out a song and the way you Ronnueify it, that's what I call it, Ronnueify it. Because you're like, man, I could do this. Because I heard you on that Janet Jackson remake. That's the first song I heard from you. And I was like, wow, this guy's got talent, because the way he sees songs, he sees it so differently than anybody else that I've ever heard. And you're different. And that's what makes you so unique and so awesome, is because that there's only one of you, man. No one can be Ronnue. No one can emulate your style. No one can emulate your voice, because you are one of a kind. And that's what makes you so special. And I think that's why when I hear your songs, I start to fall in love with them. And I know everybody else is falling in love with them. So Ronnue, I talk a lot. So let me just slow it on down and allow you to talk. So talk about Like a Virgin. When did you decide that this is what you wanted to do?
I was at home on the weekend, and 80s is my favorite decade as far as music wise. 80s, we got Whitney, we got Michael. Well, that's what we had. Michael's in the 70s, but with the 80s is when he really became the king of pop. Prince, Bruce Springsteen, the new wave era. We got hip hop got launched into the era, right? And of course, we got Madonna. So I would just and that's just a few. I love Daryl Hall and John Oates, Wham, George Michaels. I feel like we got mega superstars. That's when Patti LaBelle got launched into a superstar. That's when she came into her own. Aretha Franklin also had her next run of hits. The 80s was just special to me. So that weekend I was binge watching 80s music, right? And I came across Madonna. And so then I said, let me go back and check out all of Madonna's videos and her singles. And so there's this on YouTube, there's this thing where they have all of Madonna's videos from the very beginning up until the last thing she did, which was 2024 with some rapper. And all day long, I just kept listening to the diversity of her music. Was like, she is dope. And I feel like Madonna does not get the credit that she gets, because from the time she started releasing music all the way to 2024, her body of work was solid. So I landed across Like a Virgin, and in my mind, I said, ooh, I could do this. And I said, and it would be a spin on it if a dude did Like a Virgin. And so I called up my cousin who is Rock Fizzle, and I said, okay, I got my next song I want to do. I want you to do all the music to Like a Virgin. He said, okay. But the first version we did was the 80s pop version of it, right? And we did it very close to how she did it. Rock played all the instruments except for the guitar on it. And at the end of us mixing that, I called him back and I went home. I said, now I want to update it, right? And he said, okay. So when I came to the studio, he said, so what are you thinking? He always asked me, what are you thinking? What direction you want to go? And Bruno Mars had just put out Hot, Sexy, and Wet, with Sexy Red. I said, I want something similar to that, right? So then he put on the my acapella version. I started humming the bass line. He said, no, bro, you're doing it exactly like them. We can't do it just like them, right? So then Rock, being the genius he is, just started playing dun 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 dun, right? And I said, yeah, that's dope. So then he just started playing the bass line to my acapella. I said, let's go with that. So he laid down the bass line. He said, now what beat do you want? I said, I want the beat to be slamming. I want it to drive the song, the bass line and the beat. And you guys probably don't know this, but that's 3 different beats that he programmed. Actually, it's 4 different beats, right? Because he layered it with 4 different drum sounds. But then when I went to mix and master it, the engineer said, I want to take one of them beats, and also there's another sound I use, right? So those are 4 different beats you guys are hearing, because I said, Rock, I want this song, when they hear it, and I want it to be club. I want it to bang in the club. You know what I'm saying? And then from there, that's how we, he got the music done. But Rock plays the bass, drums, keyboards, and guitar. He's a musical genius. To me, he's on the same level. Well, you could put him up there with a Prince, Stevie Wonder, a person like that, a Marvin Gaye that plays Motown instruments, right? So Rock wanted to go and fill it in with so much more music. I said, no, bro. I said, today's music, I said, we did that with the pop version. With the pop version, we layered it with so many different sounds. But that's with Madonna. Well, actually, Nile Rodgers is the one who produced the pop version, and they had so much stuff in it, right? And we went and we redid that. I said, this one don't need all that. We just need my voice, the bass line, the beats, and then something in the chorus to separate the chorus from the verses, right? And even toward the end, he wanted just the nature of him, the musician in him, just wanted to add more. I said, we don't need all that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad we didn't, because this song, I call it a vibe, bro. I took it to clubs in Seattle, played it in clubs, rock the clubs. I've been performing it ever since. And I get a really good reaction from this song. And I have a straight up feeling about this one out. And I love all my body of work. I really do. And I go back sometimes and just listen to everything I've did from the beginning up until now. But I think this is the one that's going to break me mainstream.
Ronnue, let's talk about I said we already talked about all these songs.
No, but I'll tell you about the 80s version, because there's a story behind that, right? So when after we got the music done, I went to the studio, and in my mind, I thought I could sing it in Madonna's key. Madonna's first body of work, her first 3 albums, she was a first soprano, seriously, and she's singing very high. So I'm in the studio singing my heart out, yada yada yada. And then our process is we after I lay down my vocals, I go home and I listen to it, right? And then I go back and make my changes. When I got home and listened to it, I was horrified. I can sing high, I cannot sing that high. You know what I'm saying? But Rock just let me just go ahead and just sing my little heart out. Then I got back to the studio and I said, Rock, I sound terrible, man. Why did you let me sit here and waste all this time singing this high up and you know this is out of my range? He said, Ronnue, you're hard-headed. If I would have told you this is not within your key, you would have said, yeah, it is, yeah, it is. Let me get it out. Let me get it out. And there's nothing I could have said until you got it out. I know you. Rock and I have known each other since he's been a baby. You know what I'm saying? Since he's been born. He said, I know you. You wouldn't have listened to me. You would have said it. I said in my mind. So this ain't in his key. But I'm going to let him get it out. And he's going to go home and see it's not in his key. And he's going to come back and be like, okay, Rock, we'll do it different. So we ended up, we dropped it 5 steps down, which was within my key. So the song I believe is in C major. So it's still in C. We just brought it down 5 steps. And that's what you hear now, and it's comfortable for me.
I've had those days where I brought the first demo home and I wasn't happy about it.
Rock played all the instruments except for the guitar, because when we got to the guitar part, I honestly, I think he just got tired and he didn't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? So I have a amazing musician friends in Seattle that when I need them, I can call upon them. So there's this guy named Michael Powers who can play like a Prince. He could play like a Jimi Hendrix. He's just amazing, right? And so he played on one of my other songs. So I said, I'm redoing Madonna. I said, what I want you to do is, follow along with Nile Rodgers. No, I believe it was Bernard Edwards. It was Nile Rodgers. Yeah, one of them. Follow along what they did, but also add your flavor in it. And that's what he did. Dope guy.
And just how you approach music is amazing, because you're not settled for the first take. You got to go back in and do more.
When I'm in the studio, I'm not making it for the audience at first, right? I'm making it for me. And there's always a point when it hits you and okay, this is it. You know what I'm saying? Then when me or whatever producer I'm working with, when we both were like, yeah, that's it. Then I do my master and then I release it to the public and I hope that they like. But honestly, guys, I don't make music for y'all. I make it for me. It gotta hit me. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, even with the Like a Virgin, I'm a lesbian, or like a lot of other songs, Rock be like, bro, what are you on? Yada yada yada. I say, that's just what I'm feeling at this time, man. I'm feeling it at the time.
Do you have some advice for these people that are looking to get into the industry? They want to do what you're doing. What would you tell them?
My advice for anybody, no matter what age you are, what you look like, what race you are, never give up. Back for a long time, this business was always a young person's game, right? And then when you when you got past your 30, you were considered old. You know what I'm saying? It's no longer like that. I'm a man of a particular age, and I'm not going to give up. The running joke that Rock and I have, I'll be 80 years old coming to the studio talking about, I got the next hit. Come on, Rock. I got the next hit. And then he jokes about it and says, and then afterward, because then I'm always on my videos, he said, now I got the concept for the video and I'm going to be in my wheelchair. And he said he's going to have his little, what's them breathing things? The oxygen tanks, So that's really going to be me. I'm going to be doing music up until the day God moves me to the next level, you know what I'm saying? So my advice, don't never give up. You're going to hear a million no's until you hear one yes, but you got to believe in yourself. When I first put out my first project 15 years ago, so I was known for being behind the scenes and I wrote and produced a lot of acts, right? But a lot of my people that was in the industry told me, you're not a singer, stick to producing, right? But I let my haters be my motivators. And so I said, you guys are going to motivate me to keep going. And now all of them messes with me. all of them can't wait till I come out with my stuff. But if I would have listened to them, I would have gave it up. No, because this is what I think. What I was thinking in my mind when I was producing my groups, I wrote and produced the songs. You know what I'm saying? I'm literally was teaching them. I don't bring other people in to vote to demo my stuff when I'm working with somebody else. I sing the song and have them demo me. And then with the background, sometimes they can't get all the background. I'm doing their background. You know what I'm saying? So I said, if I could do this for them, I'm going to do it for myself.
And you are very creative. Like, you take your time with a song, you finesse it, you Ronnueify it. And that's it. That's the only term that I could think of that explains what you do.
You better go and copyright that, because I'm gonna start using that, Ronnueify.
Yeah, you put it on a t-shirt, man.
Yeah.
And then you could just say, oh, shout out to my man MC Andrew Love. He coined this phrase, Ronnueify.
Mm.
And I mean that. Your stuff is so amazing.
Mm.
And like a virgin, folks, if you ain't heard it yet, you got to go tap in. And this is where Ronnue is going to tell you where you can find him.
You can find me on all platforms. Any platforms that you receive your music, all you got to do is put in my name, Ronnue. I'm going to say it again, Ronnue, and it will come up. You know, I make it easy for y'all.
Thank you for coming to the show. We appreciate your time. We appreciate everything about you, Ronnue. I appreciate you personally because I love your music and I love your voice because it's so different. You are one of the greats, man. That's what I think. And you are an undiscovered gem, man. You really are. And you're about to be discovered, because Like a Virgin is dope, man. I am digging the vibes. Thank you for tapping in to Let's Chat and Jam. We really appreciate you guys coming through to Let's Chat and Jam. We love people and we love independent artists and we love Ronnue. Peace, Ronnue.
Peace.
I made it through the wilderness. Somehow I made